My name is Heather Reinhart. I'm a second-year MBA student at Washington University in St. Louis's Olin Business School. And I'm the Vice President of Internal Affairs and Membership for our Net Impacts chapter. This afternoon's theme is Make History, Big Bets and Bold Goals. We have an opportunity to hear from two leaders focused on impact issues, Walmart's Doug McMillon and Mark Alexander from Campbell's Soup. Today, I have the pleasure of introducing Doug. Last summer, I was an intern with Walmart's pricing strategy team. Growing up, I had always heard Walmart's mission: help people save money so they can live better. It always seemed honest and real, but I wondered if it was really true. When I received my offer, Walmart flew the prospective interns down to Arkansas to see things for ourselves. The month I met Doug and heard him speak for the first time was the same month Walmart gave raises to 1.2 million hourly associates in the US. He said, let's work together to serve our customers, grow our company, and take care of one another. Those words moved me to sign my internship offer. During my internship, I saw firsthand the many ways Walmart is using its size and scale for good. I'm proud to be associated with a company whose work makes a real difference on the real issues that matter to all of us and drives meaningful change in a way that no other company can. Now please join me in welcoming the President and CEO of Walmart Stores, Inc., Doug McMillon.
Thanks, Heather. Great job. Heather has a job offer from Walmart, and if you'd please sign that before this is over with, we would be very pleased, and my mission today will have been successful. I'm really excited to have a little bit of time with you all today, and frankly, I'm inspired. You know, it's been a little bit of a tough election season, if you've noticed, and having this opportunity to see you gives an old guy like me a lot of hope. So congratulations to all of you for being here. We're inspired by your mission of making the world a better place, and we basically just want to do the same. A few of you might really know Walmart like Heather now does, but most of you probably watched that video and kind of wondered to yourself, is this real? Is this the Walmart that I think I know? The truth is, Walmart's been through a lot of change. We started in 1962, and Sam Walton started taking discount stores to small town America and offering them value, offering them assortment so they didn't have to drive into town. And it turned out to be a really good business model. But over the years, we've added food, we've expanded to 27 countries outside the United States, and we've become quite a different company. The video mentioned that we had this moment, and it was in 2005, and it related to Hurricane Katrina and the flooding in New Orleans. And what happened is that in the years leading up to that, the company had started facing criticism about our very business model and how we went to market. And it bothered us, but frankly, we didn't quite understand it all and probably didn't have the right reaction to it because we felt like we were good people doing good work, just trying to serve customers and associates. So when we heard that criticism, it had a negative impact, but we didn't quite know how to respond. And then when the flooding happened, we were sitting there watching on television this catastrophe, which, if you don't remember, resulted in more than 1,800 people dying and more than $100 billion in damage. And as we were watching it, that Labor Day weekend, we were having these conference calls where we were following up on the things we would normally do when a catastrophe happens, like ship water. And our CEO was on one of those phone calls, and I was responsible for Sam's Club at the time, and Lee interrupted this call and said, hey, this is really bad, and it's getting worse. It is not getting better. What if we did it differently this time? What if we stepped up big time? And he basically unleashed us to throw our people, our merchandise, and our money at what was happening right before our eyes in New Orleans. And so that's what we did. And here's a picture that means a lot to me. In fact, there's a painting of it hanging behind my desk in the office. This is September 1st, and those are Walmart trailers, most of them, lined up to get into the impacted area, waiting on the authorities to tell us that we had the all clear so that we could go in. And it's symbolic of what we saw happening. We had vice presidents doing CPR inside Walmart stores trying to help customers. We had associates landing helicopters on the parking lots of Sam's Club that were trying to evacuate people out. We had teams of people that were driving from all over the country, our own associates sleeping in our stores at night and Sam's Clubs at night, trying to figure out how to help customers. And it changed us. We were so proud of how we'd stepped up in this difficult time, and in the days that followed, Lee asked us all, what would it take for us to be this company all the time? What could we do that would make us feel this proud and also show to everyone our heart and who we are as a company? So what we did is we started listening to critics, some of the people that wouldn't have wanted to talk to Walmart, that were concerned about our environmental practices or labor practices, started coming and talking to us about what was going on, and we started listening to them in a different way. And one of my favorite stories was an environmental expert that we wanted to talk to that wouldn't talk to us. He thought we were evil, just didn't want to have anything to do with us. But we kept inviting him, and finally he agreed to meet us in a hotel out of town in the basement with the shades drawn if we both came from different entrances. We walked in there and we sat in a little circle, and he started talking to us about healthcare and our wage rates, and I thought we were there to talk about the environment. And at that moment, it connected for me this path towards sustainability and how working on the environment actually leads to helping people. And as you start to think about the platform that some businesses have, like Walmart, using that platform to build a better business model became an exciting idea. So what we did is we decided to set 3 big aspirational goals. The first one was to create zero waste. The second one was to be supplied by renewable energy. And the third one was to sell increasingly sustainable products over time in more sustainable packaging. And we didn't know exactly how we were going to do these things. We only had some clarity as to what we were going to accomplish. So we set them in a big and aspirational way to give ourselves plenty of room to operate and to move. But they were big goals. And since then, now a little over 10 years, we've achieved 75% of our global waste being diverted from landfills, 25% renewable energy supplies, and we've eliminated 35 million metric tons of greenhouse gases from our supply chain. We basically moved from serving just 2 stakeholders to trying to serve all the stakeholders that have any interaction with Walmart. And as I mentioned a minute ago, tried to create a business model that could shape systems in a positive way and create a business model for good. We're proud of these goals. But today we decided to take this opportunity in front of you to share some new objectives. This is news that we haven't even shared within the company yet. We thought this would be a great place to do it. So we have a few announcements to make today for the very first time. The first one relates to waste. By 2025, we'll achieve zero waste in 4 of our larger markets. And across the supply chain, we'll work with our suppliers on packaging and product design. And downstream, we'll work on recycling returns, pursuing a more circular economy. As it relates to energy, we're going to achieve 50% renewable energy by 2025. And I'm pleased to tell you today that we're going to be the first retailer with approved science-based targets designed to achieve emissions reduction in our own operations and supply chain. This flows from the work in Paris. Thank you. This flows from the climate meetings in Paris and basically says Walmart's going to do our part. As it relates to products, I want to dive into just 3 areas. As I'm sure you know, our supply chain is immense, and it touches a lot of different companies, countries, and categories. But I'll pick on 3 today to talk more about. The first one relates to transparency and quality, then we'll talk a bit about our forests and about food. As it relates to transparency and quality, Heather was wearing a t-shirt when she was up here that's $3.88. I've got one of them here, and I love this story. It's not the only one. We have lots of stories like this because our merchants do a great job with it. But this one's from our apparel team, and what they set out to do would be to create a more sustainable garment, but to do it at an opening price point, at the lowest price point we have in a category. So what they did is they engineered a shirt that, by the way, will be available in February in our stores and online. And at $3.88, even a college student on an MBA budget can afford this, so maybe a few of you can pick that up. It is supplied, 30% of the water that's used for it is reused water. Half the energy that used is renewable, and the cotton is traceable back to the Mississippi Delta. So if we can do things like that with an opening price point, we can do it in lots of areas. So we keep telling stories and showing examples like that within our merchant team. And it's an example of us engineering sustainable quality into a product and being transparent about that product with our customers. As it relates to our forests, we'll achieve zero net deforestation in 2020 in key commodity areas like private label paper, pulp, and palm oil. We'll also be working on Brazilian soy and beef. Obviously, we all need our forests, and I don't have to make the case for that with you. As it relates to food, our goal is to become the world's most affordable retailer of safe and healthier foods by 2025, and we're going to be transparent about it. By 2025, we'll double the sales of locally grown produce in the U.S. We'll work with our suppliers to reduce additives, certified synthetic colors, flavors, and artificial preservatives. And we'll start with foods like pasta sauce, salad dressing, and Mark, how about we start with soup? Soup will be Campbell's will help us with that. We'll further reduce sodium, added sugars, and saturated fats in key categories in our private brands, and we're going to work with national brand manufacturers to do the same. Our private brand products in food, consumables, and health and wellness will use 100% recyclable packaging by 2025, and we'll start with our U.S. private brands. Those 4 goals are aimed at becoming the world's most affordable retailer of safe and healthier foods by 2025, and we're excited about pursuing that. We'll also expand and enhance sustainable sourcing of 20 key commodities to include bananas, grapes, coffee, and tea. So we have some big goals as it relates to food. So one question you might ask is, do customers care? Well, in our experience, there are a lot of customers that do, and even more over time are becoming more sensitive and aware of the products that they're buying and their impact on the world. And at the end of the day, really what we think is our job is just to do the right thing, even in areas where customers might not see it, or some customers might not care. And to take our supply chain and what we offer and create the path of least resistance for them to make a more sustainable choice, so they don't have to pay more or do something else that they might not ordinarily do. And by being systems thinkers, we can accomplish that. And we're excited about the fact that transparency is increasing in this area. Today, you can know a lot more about the products that you're buying, and in the future, that's only going to increase, and we're excited about delivering that. And ultimately, as we transform our company to not just be one that runs great stores, but also has a strong and thriving e-commerce business, coming together in a way that creates a seamless outcome for the customer, we want to not only save them money, but we want to save them time and make life simpler, and we want to have products and a business that results in more sustainable choices all at the same time. And based on the last 10 years of experience, we're confident that we can help do that. E-commerce is increasing as a percentage of our business in an important way. You may have wondered before what I've wondered, which is how wasteful is it, how sustainable is it to order products online and have them shipped to my home one item at a time, one box at a time. A few months ago, we announced an acquisition of Jet.com for more than $3 billion. And one of the reasons why we were so excited about it is because of sustainability. They had designed a transparent pricing approach combined with the outcome of a basket-driven business rather than an each business, which is more sustainable, so that basically the more you buy, the less we charge, saving you money by shipping you more than one item at a time. And as we grow e-commerce, we want to do the very best job we can, not only with the packaging and shipping, but in the way that we interact with customers to drive sustainability. We want to make e-commerce more sustainable as we scale it and as we put it together with our stores. So that's what we're out to do. So customers are important, but nothing in our business happens without going through people. It's a people business. Our associates are obviously really important. We've got 2.3 million associates around the world, so it's obviously important. 1.5 million in the US alone. And I've heard, being with Walmart for more than 25 years, criticism about retail as an industry and what retail pays, and the specific criticism about Walmart. And frankly, that hurts, because my own personal experience at Walmart has been so great, and I've seen so many people at Walmart thrive and take advantage of the opportunities that the company offers. But what we have to do now is to change the company in such a way that we get stronger and improve in that area so that there are even fewer concerns about that into the future. Today in the US, 75% of our store management started as hourlies. Being a Walmart store manager is a great job. On average, a Walmart store manager makes $170,000 a year. But too often in the past, those store managers have had to earn their way to running a store or beyond without the support of great training and development programs. So we started off on this path just a couple of years ago to invest an incremental $2.7 billion in wages in the US. We added store structure, and today we're bringing along training and development so that people have a better shot at taking advantage of the opportunities that are in front of them. One of the reasons that's so important to us is that we're deploying more and more technology into our stores, and we need well-trained associates to be able to work with it. I want to show you one story about one Walmart associate. This is Timothy.
Going through high school, my mom suffered through addiction. I didn't know who I was going to depend on other than myself. I was living paycheck to paycheck, and I honestly didn't know whether I was going to have enough money to even buy food or pay a light bill. It was hard because I was taking care of my fiance as well, you know? I had to start making decisions to make my life better. I turned in an application at the local Walmart. I got hired on as a deli associate. My entire life changed. I wanted to be able to provide for my family, and I took that opportunity. 3 years ago, I had the most beautiful daughter. I want her to have the life that I never had. I want her to be able to enjoy her childhood. I put in a transfer request for a distribution center, $60.99. Immediately, I was taken in. And this team is, in my opinion, one of the greatest teams you could ever work for. Everything that I have today is because of my hard work and the opportunities that Walmart's given me. The fact that Walmart believes in me as a person, as an individual, brings great satisfaction. I have everything that I need to take care of my family, and that's what is most important for me. I'm the happiest I think I've ever been in my entire life, and I'm able to share that with my wife. I'm able to share that with my daughter. That's all I ever want.
So that's the story of a lot of our associates, but not for all of them. We need to make improvements so that stories like that are increasingly true. So here's what we're up to. We're going to hire for talent and train for skill. We'll provide our associates with both mobility and stability. First, mobility. We'll be the place to come for that first job, where they can pick up skills and go on to do more, whether it's within the company or outside the company. I got my first job unloading trucks at Walmart. I eventually worked as an assistant manager in the store before making it into one of our buyer training programs, and was really excited to do that. I actually rear-ended my boss in his car on my first day at work, so I came a long way, and you too can experience that. Kinder, if I can get a slide up, there's a person I want to tell you a story about. Kinder is one of our recent graduates of our training academy. She's been with Walmart for 10 years. She started on the sales floor, and now she's a department manager for the health and beauty aids area. She's shown here with her son, Gurpreet, who's a department manager in auto care. This was the first time in her life that she had ever gotten to wear a cap and gown, and now she's eligible to become a management associate within Walmart. And by the end of next year, through these new academies that we're creating, we will train over 250,000 people in Walmart to be eligible for management jobs, people like Kinder. And we're really excited to be able to do that. Next, stability. Our associates get their schedules more than 2 weeks in advance. And recently we converted to a paid time off system so that they're in control of how they use their free time more than they were before. And we want to create this stable environment for everybody. Diversity and inclusion are very important in Walmart. We want everyone to be able to do well. We believe women should be paid the same as men for doing the same job. Obviously, it's hard to believe we're still having that conversation here in this country, but that's something that we believe in. And finally, we want to make a difference not just for Walmart associates, because the whole retail industry has an opportunity to step up and be even better thought of. And so we at the company and in the Walmart Foundation have committed $100 million to work with others to improve career pathways, training, and advancement in the retail sector overall. There are 15 million Americans that work in retail, and we want to help everybody, not just those that work at Walmart. We want to make that ladder of opportunity come to life. In addition to empowering our own people, customers want us to deliver for them across the supply chain. We're focused on women-owned businesses, local sourcing, and American jobs. In 2011, we pledged to source $20 billion in products from women-owned businesses here in the U.S., and we're on track to meet that commitment. In 2013, we made a commitment to source $250 billion in products that support American jobs, and we're also on track to meet that commitment. If we achieve it, and as we achieve it, we'll create an additional 1 million jobs here in this country. You may have seen this advertisement. I want to show it for you, and then I'll tell you a story about the factory. Good music, isn't it? We do actually want to help make some of those dreams come true. And that factory where the commercial was shot is in Utah. It's a Lifetime Products factory. And they make kayaks and blow molded plastic stuff like portable basketball goals. I grew up playing, or my sons grew up playing with me on a Lifetime Products portable basketball goal. They've got 1,800 jobs in that factory, but because of the program that we have, they're building a new factory in Tennessee where they'll employ hundreds of new people in Tennessee. So we're excited to be part of that. We love doing things like that. When customers shop at Walmart, we want them to feel comfortable that the products they buy were sourced responsibly. It's troubling to see the poor working conditions that exist in some places with people being forced to work. It's hard to believe that forced labor exists today, but it does. Here's what can happen. Some vulnerable people group somewhere, a vulnerable group of potential workers, are charged fees to get a job. They raise the money to go do that, then they take off to go get those jobs, and they find themselves trapped and in debt. And that stops them from being able to leave that job even if they want to. We've worked for years now to improve the lives of the workers in the supply chain. And what we've learned is that the key to making progress includes working with other people, other retailers, NGOs, governments, nonprofits, our own suppliers. And for that reason, I'm proud to announce that Walmart has become a core member of the Leadership Group for Responsible Recruitment, which exists to provide solutions. We'll work on lots of categories, but four in particular that we're focused on are seafood, particularly in Thailand, apparel, produce, and electronics. We will play a leadership role in promoting the dignity of people who make the products we sell. Those who work in our supply chain should be recruited and employed responsibly. Communities. Around the world, we've got more than 11,000 stores in these 28 countries, and we take being a part of those communities very seriously. Last year, we gave over $1.4 billion, of which $1.1 billion was in kind. That 1.4 went towards supporting things like nutrition in local schools, workforce development, and health and wellness in communities. We're on track to provide over 4 billion meals between 2015 and 2020 to families who need them. 4 billion. Finally, we'll continue the great work that we do on disaster relief. We committed $25 million in disaster resiliency over the next 5 years, on top of the $60 million that we've invested over the last few since Hurricane Katrina. And last year, we performed disaster relief functions and gave money in 87 different communities around the world, not just here in the U.S. So hopefully this time that I've had with you helps you understand that Walmart's on a journey. We started in 1962, we had this purpose, we went through this moment in time. We started really focused on our own assets with some involvement in the supply chain. We started really focused on environmental issues but we understand how important things are related to people, and ultimately that's what sustainability is all about, isn't it? So over time, we've broadened our goals to include more social aspects. And today I've shared a number of new things that we're committing to between now and 2025 that we believe will add value and help Walmart do our part, and in some cases lead and set a really good example for other people. And we'd like to challenge other retailers, our own suppliers, other businesses in general, to join us in this type of business. We believe that it's our role, it's our responsibility. We believe it's what our customers want us to do. It's what we believe the world wants us to do. We actually believe we're entering into a new era of trust and transparency. And when that light gets shined on Walmart, we want you to feel good about what you see. So we'll be working every day to make that story even better as we proceed on this journey. We hope that you'll go on the journey with us. Thank you. This clock says we got a little over 10 minutes left if you guys want to ask me questions. There's a microphone up here. Help yourself. If you would, just tell me kind of who you are, if you're going to school, where you're going to school.
All right, so you said as a company by 2025 you want to have certain goals sustainability-wise, so zero waste, 50% renewable energy. Does it stop there, or do you plan on even going further as a company after that, and in what ways might we see that happen?
Yeah, great question. I said by 2025 a lot today, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, we set those targets and we hope to exceed them. One recent example was we set a greenhouse gas target that we've been able to exceed quite handily. So hopefully you'll see us do that. We're still on this path to trying to get to 100% renewable energy, eliminate waste from all the markets, all of our businesses, not just the key markets that we called out today. So we'll keep going. We also come out periodically and certainly annually and are very transparent about how we're doing against our goals. And one thing that we believe is important for business is to set big goals. Don't be too conservative. And so you can go back and look at some of our reporting and find where we've fallen short. And we try to do a good job of saying we set this target, on this particular one we're short, here's what we've learned, and here's how we're recalibrating. And we believe as long as we're transparent about that, that the world will understand and give us some forgiveness for falling short on some things that were quite aspirational. Thanks for your question.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is David. Thank you for all that you've talking about, and Walmart for being a leader in the field.
Thank you, David.
One thing I want to ask about is, of course, there's shareholders to please, and that every decision has a financial ramification. So I'm wondering about how Walmart can reduce greenwashing in terms of being accountable and transparent. You just talked about that, but kind of you're setting these goals, but I'm also concerned about the details of it. So can you address how Walmart can reduce greenwashing or potentially greenwashing?
Yeah, I think in our case, we recognized that we weren't scientists and that we needed help from universities and NGOs and others. So I think that engagement, collaboration, and transparency is really important. External validation is one ingredient that can help. And we've had some great partners. EDF and WWF and lots of others have been, CCR, others have been very helpful to us in those endeavors. Lots of letters and alphabetic names for those groups. But they've done a really good job helping us figure that out. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, our responsibility also is to tell people where we fall short and be honest and straightforward about it. Some of these problems are very difficult and will take some time to resolve.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hi, I'm Regan from University of Arkansas, Sam Walton College of Business.
Woo pig.
Yeah. So you shared a lot about what to change for Walmart. So basically, my question is, what not to?
We talk about change a lot within our company. And if we were in a room full of Walmart associates and we talked about what we weren't going to change, our 4 core values would come up. The company's 4 core values are respect the individual, striving for excellence, serving the customer, and acting with integrity. Our behaviors need to align to those values, and those things we believe will be constant and timeless. Everything else may change. Technology is changing the world, e-commerce is changing the world, the way mobile and other things are developing. We may have quite different kinds of stores in the future than we have now, and we've got to be really open to that change. So the list of things that won't change is probably pretty short.
Hi, my name is Olivia Gossett Cooper. I'm a MBA in sustainability candidate at Bard. My question is, and thank you for being here and all you're doing. My question is, what is your approach for messaging on your store floors for sustainable products like that tea or sus tea? So it's attractive to those who care, those who don't, and those who might be resistant to sustainable goods.
Yeah, I think as it relates to communication, we may do a lot more with digital than what we're doing, and there'll probably be some limit to how much we can do in stores. Our history with signing hasn't been very good. Customers are busy, they don't generally read a lot of signs, and we don't want to add a lot of packaging to products where we don't have to. Where we can use a package to communicate, we should. And this particular item will be folded on a table with a sign on top, and that sign should do the best that it can of communicating the message. But I'm really interested in how mobile and digital can play a role for those customers that want to know more about their product. So I think we'll use that, probably even some aspects of social media to get the word out.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hi, Doug. Thank you. My name is Kate Hammerback. I'm from the University of Oregon.
Hi, Kate.
And I'm really glad to see that Walmart is using the platform they have now to make changes that have social impact, environmental impact. And I think what is a challenge for me is how does Walmart see their role and how they address kind of how they built that platform. I think that Walmart made very good business choices in building to be the scale and have the power that you guys have now. But I feel that I'm just curious how you kind of reconcile those past business decisions with these current ones that really do fit along with creating a lot better impact in this more systems thinking approach.
Yeah. What came to mind when you were describing that was a grand opening in a small town. And one of the things that may be on your mind is what Walmart's role was in small town communities as we were growing through the 80s and 90s. I was at quite a few of those grand openings. And when we opened those stores, it might have been on the edge of town instead of downtown. And when we had the grand opening, there was a line of people that were there receiving charitable giving donations from the company. Not just a few people, but in some cases, quite a few people in the community that we were giving money back to. As time went on, what I saw happen is new businesses emerging around where we built. And in many cases today, downtown's rejuvenating in some different ways than what they were originally 20 or 30 years ago, which is obviously important to all of those towns and to us as a company. So we can't change everything that we did before, but I think this mindset around serving multiple stakeholders and not just customers, associates, that circle of people around that town, and eventually shareholders, to say, you know what, Thai fishing boats matter and the factories matter. I'm excited about what we've done in recent times, and all we can do is try to do the best job forward of possibly serving all of those stakeholders. That's what we're committed to doing.
Hi, I'm a student at Presidio Graduate School in San Francisco. Today's theme has really been about equity and what we as corporations can do to promote equity. And you are one of many people in the United States in the corporate world who makes a lot of money. And you also have a lot of pride in what promote living wages. So I'm wondering how you feel Walmart's role is in promoting equity, not just raising the living standard, but promoting equity.
Yeah. So what goes through my mind is, first of all, I took my first job at Walmart making $6.50 an hour. My alternative in fast food was $3.35. So I didn't start out making a lot of money, and I've worked really hard to try and get where I'm at the moment, and I feel like I have a great obligation to create that opportunity for everybody else. As I step back as an American and look at the ladder of opportunity that needs to be created, the place at which we set that first rung comes to mind. If that place is too high, we won't be able to employ as many people as we need to. And being a great place to go for a first job is fine. I ran into a guy in a Walmart store that was an associate. He was actually down on one knee stocking a shelf a month or so ago, and he's studying to become an engineer. And he may or may not stay with Walmart. But the money that he's earning and the opportunity that he has to learn will help him in his future endeavor, whatever that is. hopefully he'll stay with Walmart, but if he doesn't, that's great. So as we think about our starting wage rate, the training opportunities that we need to create, how we think about healthcare to make sure that healthcare is priced right in an affordable way and is customized so that individuals or families can get what they need, part-time, full-time as well, all those things are important to us and factored into the overall offer that we have. So I do believe in a free market as it relates to employment pricing, but I also think fairness can be built in to an extent and needs to be whenever we can influence it that way.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello, my name is Mukhbat. I'm from Mongolia. I go to college in Erkam College.
Very good.
So I appreciate your work of making American dream come true and helping it actually happen. And at the same time, you know, the world is experiencing a refugee crisis, the second worst after the Second World War. So, as one of the largest world companies, do you feel obliged to do something regarding refugee crisis?
It's a huge issue, and my heart goes out to everyone that is being impacted. It's not an issue that touches us directly. So, you know, we have some presence in 28 countries around the world, and we certainly care. But what we try to do with our efforts is to find those things that are closest to our business so that they can be sustainable. The things that I talked about today will be good business as well as doing good things for the world, and those are the opportunities that we look for. Thank you.
How you doing? My name is Kenton Davis. I'm on the Central Ohio Regional Board of Children's Hunger Alliance, and I just want to thank you. This is the second year we got approved for a $1.5 million fund through the Walmart Foundation. So I just want to say thank you for
Congrats.
that. And we really appreciate it. We're going to feed hungry children, educate them, and making sure they're getting the proper exercise and nutrition they need. So thank you.
Terrific. Thanks for what you're doing. I guess I'm through. They shut that down. Thanks for having us. Appreciate what you're doing.